Hello friends, today our class is related with acid rain, that is most environmental problems. So you have to use our channel, and that is most relevant with the science and general studies. So let's we start with the acid rain. Here, what is the acid rain? All of you have know. Anyone know about the acids? Anyone know about the bases? So acids and bases, the parameter related with acids and base is the pH value. So pH value can identify whether any of the solution, any of the material itself is acid or bases. So here acid rain, all of you have know about how water cycle is there in which the rain is falling. In India, this is most important that India have the monsoon one. Monsoon itself calls the rainfall. So rainfall is because of the water cycle where the water itself is converted into the vapors, and then after that the vapors are converted into the water. So that is the rainfall. So by the rainfall we get different waters. So acid rain is any form of precipitation with acidic components. Here the acidic components are the sulfuric acid. All of you know about the sulfuric acid, I think. गंधक का तेजाब. So गंधक का तेजाब, this is sulfuric acid H2SO4, the chemical formula. Here the nitric acid, that is also present in the some rainfall. So here that fall on the ground from the atmosphere. So here two sulfuric acids are there. What are those? The sulfuric acid and the nitric acids. So how these we get in environment? The question is fossil fuel. So fossil fuels, which are the petroleum and their products. Petroleum, anyone? What is the petroleum? That is the mineral oil, because petroleum is also called the black gold. Recently, the clashing between the Iran and USA, that is because of the petroleum product. So that is Hormuz Pass. All of you know about the geography of the Iran and their neighbor uh, Arabian countries. So what we have, the fossil fuels when burned, then the sulfur and nitrogen compounds are converted into the nitric acid and sulfuric acid. Before going that, their gases are formed, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. So how? For example, we using the transportation. In case of the transportation, diesel, okay, petrol, those undergo the process of the combustion in which the fuel, what is that particular fuel? Diesel, petrol, undergo the process of the combustion. So after combustion, their sulfur and nitrogen compounds are converted into their respective gases. Certain industries, for example, anyone have to know about how electricity is generated? For example, the coal, thermal power. So in case of the thermal power plant, the I think all of you have to know about that earlier trains were run by use of the coal. So coal undergo the process of the burning, and that produce that particular itself is the fuel. So even in certain industry uses the coal. And coal, why coal is used in certain industries? Because the boilers, all of you know about the boilers, water boilers. So here the water undergo the process of the boiling. So certainly there the coal as well as certain other fossil fuels are used. Earlier kerosene oil was used. I think all of you have know about the how the food itself is cooked with other fuels, including the kerosene oil. Whatever nowadays we have the LPG. What is the LPG? Liquefied petroleum gas. Then the certain other LNG, liquefied. Anyone about the LNG? The liquefied natural gas. So these are the further more environment friendly CNG, natural gas. So as compared with the petrol, the diesel, the kerosene oil and the coal. So different industry produces emission of the sulfur oxides as well as the nitrogen oxides. Okay. Now precipitation. Precipitation means the whatever the water. So water, what happen? The sea water, the sun temperature of sun is sea water is increased and it undergo the process of the vaporization. So when we the water vapors go upward and then above and above, then those water vapors are converted into the liquid water, and this process is the precipitation and that fall on the earth. So here I have earlier told any of the acid. Okay. So how we can say that particular solution or particular water is acid? So there is the one of the measurable thing, and that is the pH value. So pH value itself clearly indicates the given any of the water, any of the solution, any of the liquid, whatever that can be identify that particular solution itself is acidic or alkaline. I think all of you have to know when the pressurized carbon dioxide undergo the pressurized into the water. So those are the carbonated beverage. So whatever with that, so why those are acidic? So that can be that can be identified with the pH measurement. So pH can be measured. So here below 7 pH are the acids. So what happen? Below 7 here, in case of the acid rain, there are certainly the examples in India, in Kerala, there was observations of very high acid rains. Their colorful rains were also observed, and that is because of the even below uh, 4.5 pH acid rains are also observed. So this is one of the challenging for human sustainability, that how acid rain falls on the earth and that can deteriorate, that can damage our biodiversity, our ecosystem, even the agriculture. Agriculture agriculture produce also damaged by the acid rain. So below 5.2 or 5.2 and below are the acid rain. Yes. So primarily I have earlier discussed the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. Both. So here I have mentioned NOx. NOx means the NOx. Here the combination of different nitrogen oxides. Whatever those are the NO and NO2. So these are because of the human activities, mostly the combustion of the fossil fuel. Even whatever all of you know about the Bharat Standard 4, Bharat Standard 5, Bharat Standard 1, and why we are using the particular petrol, particular diesel. So why we have in urban areas the transportation with the vehicles related with the diesels are banned. So one question is there here because in diesel the amount of nitrogen and sulfur composition are more and they produce more and more nitrogen oxides and sulfur oxides. It is very difficult. Back to the 1950s, there was one of the case London smog where so many deaths occurs. So that is related with the nitrogen oxide generated by the transportation. So here because of the fossil fuels. So below 5.2. What happened? I have discussed about the agriculture produce, the landscapes. I think many of students have visited or traveled in the Kashmir, the Ladakh, so certain areas. Those are the landscapes. So because the plants' height in landscapes are more and more, so many forests were landscapes. So all of you know about the bamboo tree. So what about the height of the bamboo tree? Devdar, sal, number of plants, number of trees having the length, height up to 400 foot. So whatever landscapes, acid deposition happens in those particular bigger plants. So that is or whatever the landscape. If we have to see the beautiful garden and where the big trees are there, what about the length? 50 feet, 100 feet. So what happen when acid rain fall? So certainly landscapes are acid sensitive. Naturally, acid deposition can reduce the pH of surface water. Here, the biodiversity is also damaged because of the acid rain. If weakens, क्या करे? What happen? The trees are damaged. Increases their sustainability to damage and other stressors. Then the drought may be there. One more example of whatever the different trees we get from the outside out of India, and those trees when we have to see the bigger challenging trees are there. So what happened here, what happened in case of the Russia, extreme cold is there. So certainly rainfall, acid rain, so certainly there extreme cold, those particular the trees are damaged. In acid sensitive areas can also deplete soil of the important plants. What happened? Certainly when acid fall, acid rain, so what happened? Here we get that particular the soil. So fertility of agriculture is down. because of that particular acid rain. And buffers such as calcium, magnesium, and release aluminium bound soil particles of rock in toxic dissolved form. Here, the toxicity, the major issue in agriculture produce. So toxicity, that is because the calcium, magnesium, those present in soil, what happen? Oh, then the toxic dissolved form the aluminium toxic metal. So they in dissolved form and appears here in the soil of agriculture. So what happened? This is one of the challenge for the agriculture areas. Yes. So acid rain contributes to the corrosion. One more thing is there, bigger buildings. Whatever the different our forts, when we have to see the culture and heritage of our India, where is that? If suppose Jaipur, the Amer fort is there. In case of Shivpuri, the Minar forts are there. So whatever the Qutub Minar, for example, Taj Mahal. So what happened? These high buildings undergo the process of the damage of those particular surfaces are damaged. You know, the yellowing color of the Taj Mahal. Anyone? What material is used in Taj Mahal? Marble. Okay. Marble calcium carbonate. So because of number of years, acid rain occurs. Happen after air pollution. Then that particular whiteness of buildings are converted into the yellowishness. So that is the fairness of the particular surfaces. So exposed, responsible. So here limestone. Any of the students you have to know, you have to know about the limestone. Okay, cement, marble, lime, calcium carbonate, calcium oxide, milk of lime, calcium hydroxide. So here calcium carbonate, limestone, the calcium oxide, lime, calcium hydroxide, the milk of lime. Here the calcium carbonate that is used for the cement industries. The many of the marvel of buildings material is the cement. So calcium carbonate itself is used for the purpose of for manufacturing cement. Similarly, marble have also. So here, because the marble undergo the fads because of those particular acid rain, and that is because of the acid air pollution. How how you can say our work are different? For example, I have seen so many number of buildings where the metal iron itself is used. So what happened? After 5 years, that particular metal undergo the process of the deterioration, because I have seen so many bigger buildings where the iron rods are painted, but because of the acid rain, those particular the material outside of the building are prepared with the that particular is damaged. Here I have got today some pictures, and these pictures are what happened. The limestone and marble buildings monuments, those are deteriorated. Anyone have, you have to see the blackness itself is what happened? This is because of the certain other gases and calcium carbonate deposition. So similarly here calcium sulfate, and sulfate itself is very hard. So what happens? The walls undergo the hardening with the process of the blackening. So that is calcium sulfate. So what happens? All those buildings and monuments are undergo the process of the deterioration. Now the metal, any example? Most one, iron. However, all of you have know in the historical that there are the iron was used, the copper was used, the brass was used here earlier in 1900. The metal, silver as a coin was used. Then further so many changes. So here metal, iron. So iron itself is deteriorated very fastly because of the uh, acid rain. I think all of you have to know about the western area, Western Ghat, Eastern Ghat. Where are those situated? For example, in Odisha. What happened? Whatever recently the Puri, where uh, the uh, we have seen in that particular area, or in Mumbai area, in Kerala area, the metal undergo very fast deterioration. I think all of you have also know about the cooling, the ACs. ACs are also damaged. So that is because of the certain the acid rain falling in the Eastern Ghat as well as the Western Ghat. However, that particular precipitation reached up to the height also. So here metal undergo the process of the corrosion, and that is example that is called the rusting of metal. So what happen if every one more thing is there, lithium metal. So any of you have to know where lithium itself is used. So that particular very reactive metal, and where lithium batteries are the solution of present technology. So let's metal undergo the process of the rusting. So human beings are so one of the most example in Central Europe, you know, Southern Scandinavia, Eastern North America shows alarming size of forest dieback. How the trees are damaged, how the death, mortality of trees occurs. That is because of those particular acid rain. I have earlier discussed, if suppose the height of the trees are more and more, then more are affected by the so effect of forested and mountains region. I think in India, the Ladakh. So Ladakh undergo the process of the drought. What happened? However, the scarcity of water is there. Ice is more and more. But those particular trees, because that are present in mountainous region. So spruce trees damaged by acid rain in whatever those, for example, in case of the pollen. So that if we have the mapping of acid deposition area, so certainly here recently the forest fire occurs because of those particular in those occur area, because forests are dried, and when heat that particular dried forest undergo the process of heating process, then the fire occurs. So forest fires, one of the example recently in case of the America, the California fire, whatever in case of the Amazon forest fire. One more question is there. In 1993 survey in 27 European countries that air pollution damage or mortality in 25%. Very amazing. 25% of forest area is damaged, is undergo the more death. So it is likely the dieback was that is removed from many factors, including acid deposition. So what happened? This is because of the acid deposition. Acid. Here are some of the questions. Which of the following is the most environmental agriculture produce? Using chemical fertilizer, using insecticides, organic farming, none of the year. Our India's Viksit Bharat 2047, that is, we have our Prime Minister have also discussed so many times the organic farming. So why we need organic farming? Because of the acid rains, those particular soil is damaged. So here question answer is organic farming. Next, so acid rain is mainly caused by emission. I have earlier discussed the question, the answer sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides. Then we have, I have earlier discussed HPH less than below 5.6. That is the answer. Is somewhere 5.2 is also answer. So let's another question. Sulfur dioxide is released. That is burning fossil fuel. I have discussed earlier. All of you know about the transportation of train where coal was used. Then another next question, nitrogen oxides are commonly produced by here the combustion of vehicles and power plant. Next, so here another question, which acids are termed acidic? Sulfuric and nitric acid. Correct answer. Acid rain can adversely affect here all of these. I have discussed. What happened? Forests are damaged. 23 trees are damaged. I earlier discussed about European countries. The lakes and rivers, those their damage of the visage. Then we have buildings. I have shown the pictures. The Taj Mahal is one of the example. So thank you, all of you. You have to like the video, like and subscribe that particular video. Okay, all the best. Here, if any question, then you can message me. You can discuss my channel. So thank you for all.